Good Erev Shabbos. When we're faced with a situation where we don't have information, our generation, the first thing many, if not most, if not all, instinctively do, it's not an instinct but on training, is just to go ahead and Google it. You Google it, you have any piece of information literally at your fingertips. So I was thinking, is there anything that you cannot go ahead and find the response on your favorite search engine? Reminded me of a story that took place here in the shul. You know, here in our shul we have the custom before the high holidays, before Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur, that we send out letters to different members and congregants, letting them know that the high holidays are coming up. And this is the honor that we'd like to give you over the high holiday season of Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. So some people receive letters that they're going to be leading the service. Some people receive letters that they're going to be getting Aliyah in the Torah. Some people get a letter stating that they're going to be opening the Ark. And when we send a letter to somebody saying he's going to open the Ark, we let him know you're going to open the Ark in such and such part of the service. So this congregant member told me that he received a letter that letting him know that he was going to open the Ark, open the Aron at the B'chol Maminim, which is a section of the Musaf service on Rosh Hashanah. He's going to open the Ark on the first day of Rosh Hashanah for B'chol Maminim. But he didn't want to go ahead and get there too early, he told me, because it's a long service. He didn't want to go ahead and get there too early. He didn't want to miss it, of course. So he wanted to know what time B'chol Maminim would be. So he called the shul office, and I have asked our staff not to let anybody know, even if it was possible to identify the exact time. So he wasn't able to get a response from the shul office. So he said that he decided to go ahead and Google it. Googled what time is B'chol Maminim on Rosh Hashanah. And lo and behold, he was not able to find an answer. This was like the first thing he ever put into Google that Google was not able to answer. There are limitations. There are limitations to our quest for responses and answers. We like to think of ourselves in the year 2020, where we know everything. We can for sure judge previous generations. We can sure pass judgment on those who came before us, because we for sure have everything right. We know everything, no question about it. End of story. But the truth of the matter is, if there's one of the overriding lessons this COVID-19 era has taught us, is making us understand our limitations, how vulnerable we actually are, which may not be a bad thing in the sense if we ultimately realize our vulnerabilities and how we can go ahead and interact with an Almighty God and interact with each other, that we are not as all-powerful as we originally had thought. A few microscopic pathogens have turned our world upside down. We thought we were putting everything behind us with reopenings, not only in our city and our state, but around the country. Employment was coming back. Jobs were getting filled again. The restaurants were being filled. The bars were being filled. The beaches were filled. Once again, we realized that we're not in control. So who's in control? A few microscopic pathogens. They seem to go ahead and be in control. So this three-letter word that comes up again and again and again. Why? Why is this happening? Why is this occurring? And once we start playing the why game, especially as people from a community of faith, we are plagued by the why for so many hundreds, and even thousands of years. Why do good people have to suffer? Why do the wicked prosper? Why have our people experienced so many painful tragedies over the year? We keep asking why. We keep asking why. Many times when we don't find responses that are satisfactory, when we don't find answers that are fulfilling, we just walk away. I had somebody in my family, someone has told me not once but numerous times, this bad thing happened to them, a tragedy occurred to them, so I'm giving up on God. I'm giving up on Judaism. I'm giving up on the Torah. There's a certain sense that we need to know everything all the time. When we don't find a satisfactory response, we have the right to walk away from it all. I say this with a heavy heart as we begin this week's parsha. God spoke to Moshe and he said, Zos chukas Torah. This is a chok of the Torah. What is a chok? A chok is a mitzvah which we do not know a rational reason for. Zos chukas Torah. God said, this is why you have to do it. And Zahu, that's it. Yes, of course, we understand why there's a reason to return a lost object. It makes a lot of sense. And we understand why there's a reason to go ahead and honor your father and mother. It makes a lot of sense. And we understand why there's a reason not to kill somebody else. It makes a lot of sense. But there are certain things in the Torah which are beyond the grasp of human comprehension. And it would be nice to know the reason. It would be nice to know the rationale behind it all. But yet, God specifically gives us a variety of mitzvahs which are called chukim, which are called, I'm not going to translate them as commandments because that's what's normally translated as. Everything is really a commandment, but a mitzvah without a reason, at least a mitzvah without a reason to human comprehension. So one may ask, if we have to go ahead and fulfill these chukim, these mitzvahs without reasoning, what is this, blind faith? Blind faith? Just going to jump off a cliff because it says that in the Torah? Although it doesn't say that in the Torah. We have to understand that we're being taught a very important lesson. This comes back to what I mentioned in the example of the COVID-19 era. And that is, we don't deserve as human beings, as finite beings, we don't deserve to know the reasons for everything all the time. There are certain things that the finite mind cannot understand. The finite man, and the finite mind cannot comprehend the infinite. We are mortal beings. We just cannot possibly comprehend everything all the time, even though we claim that we would like to. And there was no one but Moshe, the greatest rabbi teacher of all time, that learned this lesson. He said to God after Mount Sinai, the story after the golden calf specifically, Moshe said to God, "Hareini nas kvodecha, show me your glory." He wanted to know the reason for everything, the reason for God's way in the world. He wanted to know why bad things happen to good people, and he wanted to know why good things happen to evil people, and he wanted to know the things that people can't understand. And then God responded to him by saying, "Vayomer," and he said, "Lo sucha l'eres panai." You cannot go ahead and see my face. Kilo yirani adam b'chai. Because a living person cannot see this and live. Translation, there are limitations to the comprehension of the human spirit and mind. And as long as we are in this world, and as long as we are in this limited experience that we call life, our finite minds and finite bodies will not be able to comprehend it all. And that's the lesson of Zos Chukas HaTorah, to realize that there is a commander, a real commander-in-chief, that is directing us, when sometimes it's beyond the scope of our comprehension. You recognize that this may be unfulfilling to some, but please know, as I said earlier, there's one thing this era of COVID-19 has taught us, is that when you recognize that you do not have the answers to everything, it makes this journey on this earth not only a lot easier, but a lot more fulfilling, because we realize we're going to do our best. We're going to put our effort in. We're going to give it all we got. Maybe we're going to give more than we got. We're going to give 110%. But ultimately, we're not in charge. When we think that we're in charge, when we think we can control everything, we're in anguish. Why are these things happening? Well, we realize we hand our keys over to the Almighty. We really say, we did our best. Now it's for you to intercede. So, Chukas Torah. This is the chok of the Torah. Of course, it could have been easy for God to go ahead and tell Moshe the reason, tell the Jewish people the reason of the mitzvah in this week's parsha, the mitzvah of paraduma, how the ashes of a red heifer would purify someone from racial impurity. But we're learning a very compelling lesson, not only for one, eras of bygone time, but one specifically for 2020 now, specifically from 2020. When we're going ahead, and I was listening to the radio today, one of the radio moderators was interviewing one of the heads of a hospital here in Jacksonville. And she said to him, how are you preparing for COVID-19? The numbers are rising. He said, we have a lot of things in our mind. We're preparing for COVID-19. The numbers are rising. We got 40 patients with COVID in the hospital, in his particular hospital. And by the way, we're also preparing for a hurricane. The hospital has to be ready. We hope it won't happen. She's like, 1 second. We can't even mention the word. He said, this is hurricane season. We have to be ready for everything. We realize how little control we have. As we're reeling from the COVID, people are starting to say it's hurricane season. Hey, bye-bye. And the answer is, Zos Chukas Torah. We realize our vulnerabilities. We realize our limitations. That should not make us sad. It should not make us depressed. But rather, it should make us appreciate our standing in the world. It should make us understand our purpose in the world. That we are put here to be ambassadors for godliness in this world. And God told us the rational reason, at least for the way we can comprehend it, for many things, but certain things we don't know, and that's what faith means. So, ladies and gentlemen, as we go ahead and we try to keep our heads above the water, we try to keep our sanity in stressful times and challenging times, we try to search for answers. Let us know, although we may find some answers to certain things, we will not find the answers to everything, and that's okay. Because those who cast Torah, God put us in this world as human beings. And there's certain things the human mind won't be able to comprehend, but should strengthen our relationship with Him and realize that He is Almighty. We have a special mission on this earth. I wish you all very nice and peaceful Shabbos.